Man, let's do this shit, bro.
Let's go, man. Let's send it.
What's up, guys? I got a new person on the... It's not just me today, man. It feels good.
Yeah.
I'm not so lonely.
Right? Feels different. First time.
Cool, man.
Heck yeah.
We got Jake Johnson with us.
Mm-hmm.
Jake.
Yeah, dude. The Meatballs. The Meatball duo. Let's go.
Cool, man. Dude, me and Jake have been friends for fucking ever, bro.
Dude, since...
Lifetimes.
Yeah.
Like 3 lifetimes ago. Started.
At least.
Oh, man. Today, yeah, so it's going to be a little bit different today. This is my first time doing it with somebody else. So we're going to fucking rock with that. I guess what I'm kind of thinking is we'll go over a little intro.
Yeah.
Let you guys know who Jake is, what he's all about. Obviously into fitness. Ripped as fuck. We'll go into like supplements, what he likes to take, and nutrition is kind of his shit. So we'll talk about diet plans, what he eats, and then maybe different stages of wherever you're at with your fitness, recommendations that he has for you. That's cool.
Definitely.
And then here, let me grab this really quick.
Yeah.
So this has the notes. Oh.
Fancy.
Yep. And then afterwards, we're going to talk a little bit about PTSD, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of our take on it, what we think about it. Yeah. So when that time comes, I wrote it right there.
Okay. Dope.
And
Oh, yeah.
you can set it down wherever right now. Or it's on your phone too?
Yeah, it's on my phone.
Okay, cool.
Yes, if you want to hold that.
Okay, hell yeah.
Cool.
Alright, bro. Let's see. You want to give us an intro, dude?
Yeah, dude. Kind of like who I am.
Yes.
What I do.
Yes.
Let's see. Well, first off, for starters, I started working out when I was like 14.
Yeah, dude, I remember that shit. He got jacked immediately. What grade is that?
Ninth.
9th grade.
Remember summer? No, not the summer, but PE. That's when we like became way good friends.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was lifting a ton and finally started to put on muscle, and because I sucked at football in 9th grade, dude. But it pushed me.
Yeah.
You know? It was kind of like a motivating factor to be like, okay, I got to get bigger. And then, luckily, I was raised by a doctor, so who knows his shit really well about nutrition, about working out. So I grew up in a home where we always were eating healthy food. And it wasn't like we obsessed over eating like tracking macros and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was more so just eating real healthy food, stuff that we made and cooked at home. Basically from there, I just kind of grew up learning about nutrition, being taught, from Dr. Johnson, the man himself, the expert.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
Yeah, the guy who's always been ahead of his time. He was doing keto when I was like a senior in high school. And that was like 7 years ago, and no one ever even heard about it.
Yeah, true, man.
Yeah. So he kind of stumbled upon that. He always kept up on his studies, and then he taught us. But honestly, it wasn't until I really got into the nitty-gritty of nutrition when I started doing bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Because then that's when I started tracking my macros.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started learning about the importance of protein, importance of carbs, importance of fats, understanding how they're metabolized, used by the body, and then, taking classes in college. Currently, about to finish up with my undergrad in exercise science.
Hell yeah.
So, have a good background in that area, in nutrition and exercise, and it's always been my passion, something I've always done, and I think it's more so because I've always tried to do it myself. So now it's like you get to the point where, you get so good at doing it that you want to help others do it too, so they can get to your level,
Yeah,
of health and fitness, because you feel so good. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
So you want to make sure everybody feels good, So that's why I don't mind when people are always asking me questions about, dude, how do I get a six pack? How do I, what do I work out in the gym? Like, what's your routine like? I mean, it's just because they want to be better. So.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
Anyways.
Okay, so you started lifting at like 14.
Yeah.
And that was with yourself or with team sports, or what was that all about?
It was a trade-off. So it was with my dad, myself, friends, with you. Remember summer football? That's what I was referring to. We hit it every morning.
Dude. We would, man. We fucking went to Springville High School, and they've got their gym in the fucking basement of all basements, bro.
Dude, they're doing construction. Remember that shit?
When we were going, the lights wouldn't even work, so they'd have to open one window, and there's barely enough light in there, and we were still just like, fuck this, man.
Go hard as shit.
That was like the best memories, man.
Yeah.
It's cool when there's like camaraderie like that, and everyone's pushing it. That's why football was so sick.
Yeah. So true. That's why it's fun to work out with other people too.
Yeah, man. It makes
just
such a difference.
Different atmosphere.
Yeah.
For sure. Push yourself a lot harder.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Okay. Cool, man. And then when did you start getting to bodybuilding shows?
Oh, that was like in 2018.
2018, so 3
Yeah.
years ago?
Yeah, 3 years ago.
Okay, cool.
And that's kind of where, like, because I already, had been fit before, and I had done keto, but I didn't really understand, quite understand how the body worked yet at
Yeah.
that point. But then you just learn through experience, trial and error, how your body works, what works for you. And then it wasn't till, I think it was like a little bit after that is when I kind of figured out that, like, okay, bodybuilding isn't really health and fitness. It's more so just fitness.
Huh. Yeah. Yeah.
And if I want to go into health and fitness, then I better choose a different route.
Huh. Interesting.
So, because, getting down to that 2% body fat it's not healthy. It's not for longevity. If you're aiming for, living a long life, it's not going to, that's obviously not the route to go. And that's kind of what I want to go into is, helping people live a healthier lifestyle and not just be, be ripped, yes, look good, but feel good. I think that's more important.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I kind of figured out. So I was like, okay, I look good, but I feel like shit.
Huh, interesting. Feel like shit in what way?
Tired, depleted, low energy, not wanting to do anything else besides, okay, I'll just hit the gym, do my cardio, do 2-hour workouts. I'm in a big deficit, so I have like no energy outside of that to do really anything else, like read or study. So.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Kind of turns into like almost a job at some point, huh?
Mhm.
You gotta count every calorie.
Yeah.
Work out more than once a day.
Yeah.
If you're training for those shows, huh?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And once those shows approach, you have to up it up a whole nother fucking level.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you're on like no carbs, no fats, protein. And protein's not a source of energy, but it can be, but not really. So you're just depleted.
Yeah.
You're just so tired.
Yeah.
So your body's functioning off like nothing.
Yeah.
It's in survival mode. Cool. Just,
Cool. Yeah, so like I said, Jake knows his shit with nutrition and what to eat. So if it's cool with you, Jake, I think it'd be awesome for people to hear maybe someone that hasn't lifted or hasn't really cared about nutrition up to this point,
Yeah.
how they can maybe start.
Mhm.
And then also maybe someone that has been doing their shit but wants to take it to the next level.
Okay.
And then if you could go into maybe some supplements, that would be good for that.
Yeah.
And even steroids.
Oh. Yeah.
What maybe if you would recommend that? What
Yeah.
types? Maybe what types to avoid?
Okay. Yeah.
Just your take.
Okay. Cool.
Hell yeah.
So we'll start with beginners getting into exercise. Dude, I mean, when you began, I think the first thing that we should start doing is eliminating certain foods. Besides focusing on what you should eat, focus on what you shouldn't.
Interesting.
Okay? And start with the basics. Don't overcomplicate it. Water, for example.
Do or don't drink water.
Don't.
Yeah. Fast food?
Yeah, fast food, eat it every day. You know, McDonald's, you know, mid-morning snacks, solid choice. Nice, yeah. No, dude, for real though, like, I know I've worked with like a lot of clients, and that's what I tell them. I'm like, okay, just focus on drinking 100 ounces a day of water, and focus on taking out taking out sugar, added sugars. Just don't eat added sugars, because like it's a lifestyle change, so you got to take it slow. If you know, few and far between people can just jump right into like a hardcore diet and not relapse a week later. Relapse or binge or whatever you want to call it, you know. So you have to really build into it. It takes time.
Cool.
So that's kind of my, you know, someone who's just starting out, just starting to eat healthy. You know, I think you get rid of sugar and bread. I think those are the two, you know, biggest things. Yeah, sugar, because, you know, maybe gluten even too. That's a big driver of inflammation in the body, and that's what we're trying to get rid of.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool. And then what about someone that has a couple years of lifting experience and then kind of wants to take some more shit, they're interested in it, but they don't know what would you recommend for them?
Yeah, if someone's kind of been going for the gym for, you know, 6 to 8 months, you know, it's got a good base, has their kind of diet in somewhat of an order, you know. This is where it kind of gets tricky because everybody's different. I think my biggest advice though is, yeah, making sure that whatever your goals are, if it's to put on muscle or even lose weight, it's like a big macro of mine that I try to eat a lot of is protein. You know, making sure that you're kind of having adequate protein a day. And so yeah, that kind of comes into, you know, macros. Tracking your macros somewhat. You don't have to obsess over it. I think you don't need to like count every little macro, like vegetables. People are like, you count your vegetables as carbohydrates? And I'm like, no, because it's, you know, they have full micronutrients. That's more important than my macros coming from a vegetable, in my opinion.
Yeah, totally.
So I think.
And what about SARMs?
Oh, SARMs, like supplements. Kind of get into supplements. Yeah, SARMs are tricky. There's not a lot of research done on SARMs. It's more anecdotal evidence. People who've just tried them, you know, and their experience from them. It's not super regulated. And, you know, I'm not saying that, I better say this for, you know, legal issues. I don't endorse these at all, the use of them, because they're not for human consumption. They're only for laboratory research purposes only. And it should be, you know, quite clear that, yeah, like there's obviously not a lot of studies done, but if you're wanting to go down that route and you're on the side, that's something you would like to try and take. I think the most studied SARM out there, and one that I've kind of researched up on, is Ostring.
Ostring.
Yeah, because they're very selective, you know, what they do. You know, SARM stands for Selective Androgenic Receptor Modulator, meaning that when it's in the body, it's going to act as something, you know, act as an androgenic aid towards building muscle or tissue repair or strengthening your tendons. They're very selective in what they do, so they don't affect, you know, everything like hormones do, you know.
Yeah.
Like testosterone affects your skin, your hair, you know, your mentality, everything.
Yeah.
So SARMs are very, you know, the only not attack, but target those certain cells that they need to.
Dude, I need to go get some fucking water.
Oh yeah? Dude, I have protein.
Oh my
bro.
god, yeah. Fucking crying. But dude, that's good advice because I see a lot of these dudes at the gym
Yeah.
that are taking all sorts of shit, man.
You don't need to.
Yeah, you're an advocate for more natural, you would
Yes.
say? Yeah.
Yes. More natural for sure.
Yeah, dude, there's almost like, you can almost like see it in their face, kind of, you know? It's kind of all fucked up.
Their skin.
Their skin has like acne and they're, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like, aggressive and shit. You can tell they're mad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
Definitely.
if you're doing that, you're doing that, but there's definitely consequences.
Yes, long term.
Long term.
For real, I think more is not better in the world of SARMs or steroids or whatever it is. You want to find a balance because your body, is all about balancing. It's all about balance,
Yeah.
And if you're excessive for too long in one area, your body's going to be thrown off, and then you'll start seeing, a lot of consequences.
Yeah.
Like the fucked up face.
Oh, man. If you're interested in getting a diet plan from him, which I highly recommend, how could they do that?
Yeah.
DM you on Instagram?
Yeah, just DM me on Instagram. I think that's the best way to go about it. Handles Jake V, as in Victor, Johnson.
Victor.
No, yeah, you can just DM me on there and I'll get back to you in probably, 1 week or so. Very damn slow at replying, but I'll eventually get to it.
Okay.
So,
cool, man. Anything else you want to cover with fitness?
I mean, I think there's a lot of unclear, certainty about steroids, and yeah, I think it's safe to admit that I have tried, in my bodybuilding days, I guess, certain steroids, and I'm not saying I endorse them, I say you should try them because they are illegal, but I have tried them, and in my opinion, from trying them, it's better to go without, honestly.
Yeah.
You can accomplish it without it. It will take more time, and maybe you won't get to the size that some of those guys that are taking steroids are, but what's the point of that, in my opinion?
Yeah,
then you're pushing away from health. Now you're just going towards fitness. You're just going towards that kind of the egotistical, I'm huge and the biggest guy in the gym,
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Just go towards health, do it because you love it, and let your body just be in balance. So.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Dude, do you want to hop into this?
Dude, let's do it.
Okay, cool. So today, normally I've been reading from this book that I've written, but today I didn't want to go over that. I wanted to try something new. And so I put down 6 or 7 bullet points that I thought would be interesting to talk about, and Jake thinks that's pretty cool too. The first thing that I want to go over and kind of talk about what it means to me and what it means to you as well is radical acceptance of who you are. And I think that's so fucking important, man. People spend a lot of time trying to improve themselves, which is great, but there is this element of if you're always trying to improve yourself, it's kind of where are you trying to go? What are you trying to, in a sense, it's kind of like you're resisting or you're turning away from something. But I totally am for improvement, self-improvement. I was going to say the first time I came across this idea, I was actually a fucking Mormon missionary. And I was reading this book, and it wasn't a Mormon book. It was from some psychologist. And it talked about the idea of forgiveness and how everything in you forgive. And doesn't matter what it is. And to, just try that for a day. Don't try to attack anything. Don't try to say this needs to be better, this needs to change. Just simply let it be and forgive it in the way of not this is bad and it needs to be forgiven, but more of giving it space just to be what it is. You have anything you want to add to that?
No, dude, I actually love that, man.
Yeah.
I think that's what, we struggle with most. And the way I kind of grew up was trying to be perfect.
Huh.
Always trying to get better. I need to be better at this, I need to be better at that. I think, yes, self-improvement's good, but it became can become an obsession.
Yeah.
And then that's when you lose sight of, who you are. and then you start to feel, like almost in a way, bad for things that, in a way that the only reason they're bad is because you think they are.
Yeah, the obsession is not really to get better. It's more of, all these things are wrong and I need to change them.
Yeah.
Type of shit.
Right. And the past is the past. You can't change that.
Yeah.
So I agree. Just it's like you have to literally just forgive and let go. And so that's what I was just thinking. But that's really good, man. I like that.
Okay. Fuck yeah, man.
Fucking smart, dude.
Okay. Here's another point that I thought would be cool to talk about. I think it's important to mention trauma and PTSD because we all have it, and it's stuff that we all go through. But it's not. I don't think it's helpful to talk about it in a negative way. I think psychotherapy can be helpful, and I have benefited from it. But constantly going over trauma and talking about it might not be helpful and could be actually hurtful. So one thing that I think is important is that when you talk about PTSD, it always leads to your true self, not your trauma self. So I think it's important to talk about it in a way that it's liberating and leads you to just your authentic. And a kid, Hank Eaton actually, he left a comment on my YouTube, a kid that we grew up with, and he said, your honest self. I thought that was like a fucking perfect way of putting it, Nothing deceptive, you're not trying to lie, just totally honest and open, which I think is cool as shit. And to go along with that, once you are on your journey and you are at a point where you feel like you are free from this trauma and these loops that you've been and patterns you've been stuck in, you don't necessarily need guidance at that point. You don't even necessarily need to listen to any more authority figures or anybody that you think is above you, whether that be in your family or just external pressures that you have, because you kind of come into contact with this intuition, I would say. And the intuition is really specific to yourself, and I believe it is like a guiding principle in your life. And we talked about this the other day, how emotions are kind of almost like a metaphysical thing. And it's not us generating emotions, it's as if we're receiving these emotions. Maybe not get too identified with it, but let it be and treat it as almost a teacher and guidance and see what it has to say and where it can guide you. Anything you'd like to add to that?
How would you say you would like emotion, when emotion come, let's say, of guilt?
Yeah.
How would you kind of like if something, from your past, like a traumatic experience, something you regret?
Yeah.
How would you say and you see something that makes you think of that, and you have that emotion from it? How do you channel that into something positive?
Yeah, man, that's a good fucking question.
Yeah.
What I've been saying is that, for example, when you have a fight or flight reaction or a survival mode reaction to life, the actual energy in your body is lower. And once you begin this healing process, I don't know exactly how, but it's these faculties open up in your body that are healing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's getting rid of this blockage or imprints in your brain and in your body of this traumatic experience, and it's healing itself from it. So I feel like it kind of does it on its own in a way.
Yeah.
Meditation perhaps at the beginning is something that you need to practice and treat as a discipline, but you do get this momentum of not wanting to even go there anymore. The thought comes up and you're like, I've been down this road, it doesn't help me anymore.
It's so true.
Yeah,
Good question. I don't know if I have the perfect answer, but I wanted to ask you along that same question. Mind versus brain.
Oh, yeah.
Perhaps how you could train your mind to help you with those type of things. Do you have
Oh.
from that podcast that you listened to?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast, it's Bulletproof Radio by Dave Asprey, and he always has, certain doctors. I don't remember her name specifically, but I was just listening to it this morning, so just kind of paraphrasing. She was talking about, mind and brain and how they're two separate things. So our brain is basically, the command center, but our mind is our thoughts, and our feelings. And learning how to, I guess in a way, not necessarily not control, because when you try to control, you obsess, and then I feel like you're just gonna be looping again.
Right.
That's why, like what you were saying, that you just need to kind of like identify it and then let it go, and not really obsess over that idea. But it's hard when you have a lot of strong emotions attached to that thought. But that's why I think through certain, thoughts, and through learning consciously, by reading, by, by meditation, by certain, doing things with discipline can help you lead, I guess, lead into more of a less triggered response to certain, certain environmental factors that trigger those emotions, or when those emotions hit you, you're able to let go of them in a more positive way because you've consciously made an effort, first and foremost, to be able to let go of that stuff.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect, man.
Cool.
Okay, this one kind of leads into that. I want to talk about this strange habit that I think all humans have of escaping from the feeling of being loved. And I want to ask you this. I think we can both agree that there is kind of like this natural love that all humans have access to, and even more than access to is fundamentally who they are. Why do you think that is? Why do you think people try to run away from that feeling or escape from that feeling?
Oh, because they don't love themselves.
Huh. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been I feel like a huge conditioning has been like not to value your own self, yeah.
Yeah, this kind of ties back into what we started with, of self-improvement. You're not in love with who you are already. You're in love with this idea of who you want to be.
Yeah.
And so you run away from love, in a way, because you're trying so hard to be this, image of yourself, that you don't love what you are currently. And so it's like you're pushing it away. You're kind of like pushing that feeling of love away, because you're so focused on what you want to be, and what you think you should be when you're, been taught to be,
Yeah, man, that's perfect. Also makes me think of this form of meditation that I've liked. I've kind of mentioned this before, but like literally focusing on your heart and like literally feeling whatever is there. Because when I first started doing that, I was like, oh my god, I've been ignoring so much shit. It's crazy to think, once you do start noticing it, how much more in tune and how much more natural everything feels. Alright, let's move on.
Okay.
Did you have something else you wanted to add?
Oh, I was just gonna ask you, how do you focus, like, on your heart? Like, can you listen to it, or like you kind of?
I think literally paying attention to it. One, physically, because that kind of helps me stay in my body, if that makes sense. Not get lost in thoughts. And then also just the emotions. Watch the emotions.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by it.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Alright, dude, I really like this one. I think you'll have cool input on this. So the trauma self experiences anxiety when contemplating the unfoldment of its genius. The true self never worries about that. So I kind of got into this idea because I felt like I think this is pretty relatable to a lot of people. Is that I would flip-flop between like being very, very hopeful of like cool ideas and this dream and this vision that I have, and then almost in a way trying to like sabotage it. Trying to be like, oh no, I can't have that, I don't deserve that, I'm not good enough for that. So I think it's important to realize that when you are telling those like ego stories, that it's not your true self. It's just like conditioning and programming that's happening. And if you can get, I think it's a very mature attitude, you know? Whatever the fuck is happening, let it happen, you know? And it's hard when it's like negative and it's trying to be destructive, but I think you can push through that shit, you know? Go through that knowing that that attack or that ego story isn't true, it's just an opinion.
Yeah. It's just like that is true. It's like an automatic thought in a way.
Yeah, automatic thought.
It's an automatic thought that wasn't necessarily you.
Yeah.
It's not your true self. And identifying that and then letting it go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that takes a lot of practice. I think we all have, Jim Quick, this guy, he always talks about no ants, meaning no automatic negative thoughts. It's like, you have to like identify that voice in your head in a way, put like a name to it, and every time you have like a negative thought, like you have to be like, no, it's not me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then let it go. That's what I like about what you're saying, is because the more we think about something, the stronger it becomes in our minds. In a way, the stronger the memory, or the stronger the feeling of regret, or the stronger the feeling or thought, whatever it is. The more we think about it, the stronger it becomes, and the more it affects us.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, when you have those negative thoughts, do not think about them, but identify it. Like, that's not me. Let it go.
Yeah.
You know?
It makes me think like how important attention is.
Yeah.
You can take your attention off of thoughts and allocate it somewhere else. Which is kind of crazy to think about. Who's the thing that's taking attention off and putting attention onto? I think that's deep. You could think about that for a while, that awareness. What is that awareness? What is that attention? I like this one, dude. I want to hear your take on what a fearless vision means.
Oh, yeah.
And also, yeah. If you don't mind, I'll go over that first.
Definitely.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I love the idea of a fearless vision, man, because I think it's important not to feel fear in your vision. Or if you do feel fear, it's not overriding positive action. And I think a fearless vision is just as much developed as it is almost like discovered, or like in a strange way given to you, you know? And I like to say it's fearless in the sense of it feels like a guarantee, you know? It's something that you desire strongly and you feel very confident about. Not in a cocky way, but like genuine confidence. And I also think as people are moving from trauma self and beginning to identify more with their true self, the fearless vision becomes more and more clear. So what's helpful for me is not, goals. I love setting goals, but not to be super, super fixed on goals, but to focus more on a direction and kind of flow in that direction and whatever comes to me, meet it, and kind of go from there. For me, that feels a lot more easier than trying to like make a plan in my head, make goals, and then have it actualize in reality, as opposed to moving towards a direction.
Yeah. I think that's what a vision is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say a vision, you know, you visualize yourself like in a certain spot, but the journey, like you don't really know the speed bumps or the things that are going to come up during that time.
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't know, so it's like, you have to literally take it as it comes,
Yeah.
you know, but you still have your idea of where you want to be and what you want to do. And so you aim for that, you know. I think that's, when you have that confidence you're going to get there. You don't necessarily know how, but like, I think if you have that vision, you'll automatically take the necessary steps and the right steps to get there.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Much more likely to make the right steps and right
Mhm.
choices.
Yeah. Very true.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, 'cause if you plan out shit, just try to like, okay, I'm gonna do this, do that, do this. If this comes down, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna act this way. You can't do that. It's just because situations change. It will change like the way you react, I guess,
Yeah.
depending on the situation.
Yeah. It's also like, you can't control everything, you know?
No.
You can't control other people.
No.
A lot of times situations come up that are out of your control. Things don't fall the way you want it to, and that's not even in your control sometimes.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, man. Dude, that does it for my notes, man.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
But, dude, I love this episode. This was fun as fuck.
Dude, awesome. Yeah. Hopefully, you know, the viewers enjoy it.
Dude, they fucking will, bro. If this doesn't
Yes.
get 1 million fucking views, fuck everyone to watch this.
Dude, no, but for real, put a like. If you like this video,
Yeah, man.
like it, comment. Because that helps with our, you know.
That shit helps with the algorithm and shit, you heard?
Exactly. We'll get, you know, the meatballs.
Alright, to end this episode, we're gonna see how many curls we can do with this bitch.
Oh, shit.
I'm going on my fucking knees, bitch. Knees, bitch. Will you help me up?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, you shit! Give me that hat! Give me that hat! Fuck it!
That concludes the meatballs.